Okay.
Hi, Warner.
We're off. Hello, Darcy. How we doing? Now, it's
I'm
been a
doing
couple
great.
weeks.
It has. Yeah, we
It
missed
has.
last week.
Yeah, no, absolutely. We
I
did.
got busy. You left town.
Yeah, I was in town. I was in Oklahoma, right, where the wind comes sweeping down the plains, right? It was real nice. Where the buffalo roam. Saw
Home
tons of
sweet
buffalo.
home.
Absolutely. Saw
Did
all
you
the
shoot any buffalo by chance?
No. That's actually against the law there. You'd actually get arrested.
Oh, really? Well, you come
All the
back here and get
buffaloes-
arrested for something
Yeah,
else.
they're on a state park, right? Or actually a federal park.
Yeah, that
federal,
would be bad.
Federal park. But anyway, so it's been a couple weeks,
Yep.
and a lot of
So-
things have happened.
By the way, welcome to Lovettsville,
Yeah.
201 to go. Liberty Radio Hour with me and Warner.
That's right.
So,
Darcy
yeah.
Warner. Yeah.
What are we talking about first? I don't
Well,
even know
so
where to
let's
begin.
let's talk about what I think is the single most insane conversation probably ever in the history
History of the world and history of us, as
of
my husband says.
American politics, right? Is Trump's use of the word kitten, right? 11 years ago, right? And somehow, I think that term has never been used in the history of man.
That all of a sudden now it's
Yeah.
the thing.
Yeah, and what's funny is
Unless
it's
you were
just
talking about.
the visceral, the visceral reaction, right? And I mean, and people just making stuff up because listen, I'm going to tell you,
You just go right ahead. Just go ahead.
I'm going to be honest with you. As a guy, right? You get, I'm going to say 3 or more guys together, right? We're talking about chicks.
Chicks?
Right? Chicks, right? I mean, we're talking about them, right?
I thought you said
It's-
chunks. I'm like,
no,
what's a chunk?
chicks, right?
Okay.
And one of the 3 is going to go down the road of inappropriate content,
Right.
Now, especially if you're in your teens or 20s, right?
Right.
So hopefully you sort of mature out of it, right? But you still,
Yeah.
when even older guys get together, right, and some attractive woman walks by or something,
Absolutely.
we all have the secret little
Is it not in
sides.
us? It's human nature.
No, absolutely, right?
Okay, but continue on.
Yeah.
No.
Well, and what was funny is people were going like, hey, this is, it's locker room talk and stuff like that. I mean, the reality is guys do it, right? And, I mean, hopefully, like I said.
Do you
we
think
get-
women never do that?
I don't know, man.
Okay, I'm just putting the question out
never
there
know.
because a lady called into the radio the other day and she said, if you think men are the only ones to talk like that in private with each other in an
Yeah.
intimate setting where it's friends,
Yeah.
come on.
No, absolutely, yeah. And what was funny is I heard Rudy Giuliani was saying, hey, look, I'm not defending the language, but the reality is this is what guys talk about. This is locker room talk. And the interviewer, who was a newsman, said, I disagree. He goes, I've never had that kind of conversation. Blah, blah, and he goes on and on and on. And I immediately going, you're gay. If you have not had that conversation about
women, yeah.
you are gay.
But this takes me back. I'm always going biblical on everybody. But cast the first stone if you
absolutely.
haven't done anything wrong or
Yeah.
anything like
Well,
that.
and especially in this area, right? So it's just a guy thing, right? We are shallow creations,
Yeah.
right? And so,
And God made you cute so we could forgive you.
there's a show called the Red and Green Show. It's a Canadian show. It's funnier than heck. It's about a lodge and stuff. But the lead guy on there, he always says, well, if the women don't find you handsome, they better find you handy. Right, and so I think that's really
what I was
why.
looking for was a handy
No,
man.
absolutely,
So see,
right?
yeah.
Yeah. So I think that it sort of goes, right? So we are shallow and superficial, and we like looking at women, right? And here's what even kills me even more. So billions of dollars,
Billions,
right,
with a B.
are spent on feminine makeup, clothes,
I was just
all
going to
this other
say,
stuff.
I am in a $60 billion a year
Absolutely, right?
industry.
You're it.
Yes.
You're on the cutting edge of, Now listen, why do women
Right, because
come to do that at your place?
Because let me tell you something, and I am not condoning anyone's
No,
bad
absolutely not.
behavior, but
No,
this
absolutely.
is the reality of us. And anybody who doesn't admit it is full of crapola,
No,
okay?
absolutely, right? And if they don't do
Because-
it, they're lesbians.
Okay,
right?
first of all, yeah. But trust me, the lesbians are looking at the cheerleaders or
No,
whatever.
absolutely right.
But we go in and we spend hundreds of dollars on our hair. We get facials.
Yeah.
Some of us even go through. No, I'm not saying me. Don't want to start any rumors. But the bottom line is, I mean, the plastic surgery world is a $1 billion industry, all to attract you guys.
No, absolutely.
So as we find his remarks offensive,
Yeah.
you tell me that somebody. Would you rather have somebody talk about you like that or say how butt ugly you are?
I know.
I mean,
know.
seriously.
I know.
don't want anybody talking about me like that
Yeah.
or saying that I'm butt ugly. But the reality is, you want people to think you're attractive.
Absolutely.
And that's sometimes the kind of response you're going to get. So don't spend money if you don't want people talking about how attractive you are.
No, absolutely. Right.
And this is the other thing. If you're going to be a cheerleader, if you're going to be a model, you it's just like the NFL players or movie stars. If you don't want to be famous, then don't do it, because the consequences are you're going to be noticed, you're going to be ridiculed, you're a zero or a hero, and everything you do and say is going to be out there. But if you don't want the attention, then I mean, not that you shouldn't dress a certain way. I'm not advocating, say, oh, well, if you dress that way, you deserve it. I'm not saying that at all. But expect the attention, because that's
absolutely.
what it is.
And here's the deal. So, the Muslims make all the women wear burqa.
Yeah.
So they don't have that issue, right?
Well, you know why they do, right?
Because men are shallow.
Because they can't control themselves. If
because
I see you, I'm going to have to...
Because we talk about women like that in the privacy of 3 or more men.
Well, see, and therein lies the statement, in the privacy.
Yeah.
It wasn't meant for the whole world.
And here's the deal: when guys get older, I mean, now Trump was, he was in his 60s when he said.
Okay, well, let me say this: did that shock the crap out of anyone? I mean, I was just like, okay,
he's been married 3 times, right?
I mean, does that shock you?
Yeah.
Like, oh gosh, I'm so blown away. No, I wasn't.
Absolutely.
My mind going like, yeah, is he the idiot we thought maybe he was? Sure, but sometimes you got to deal with the.
So normally, what happens is, so you talk, locker room talk in your teens and 20s.
Mm-hmm.
By the time you get married, you sort of grow out of most of that stuff. When you get older, what guys do is it's right here. It's all in the eyebrows, like.
You stop
you raise
this
it right
and
there.
speak with this.
So if 2 guys are next to each other, right, and they see a good-looking girl. I mean, and we do it when they're not looking, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we'll go like. Right, and we get it. We got it. Right.
Yeah.
I mean,
Nothing else needs to be said.
I'm in Oklahoma the other day, right, and I'm on the elevator. And I'm on
Was
the
your wife
elevator.
with
She was with me,
Okay.
right? No, she wasn't. She wasn't.
Okay.
She wasn't with me. Thank God. Right? But anyway, but she'll watch us right now. No, but I mean, to be honest, so I'm on the elevator.
Was Gwyneth Paltrow there?
No, sorry.
What's your wife's name? She's gotta love you.
Lana. So, but anyway, so there's a guy on there, right? And I'll give you the scenario. So he's a black gentleman. He's probably in his 30s.
Okay.
Right. So and he was tall. He was probably like 6'2" or whatever.
Okay.
Right. And you got this short, fat, bald man in his 50s. Right. And so there's not only just an age difference, generational difference, but there's a cultural difference.
We got
as
Mutt
well.
and Jeff and okay.
No, absolutely right. And 2 very attractive women who are dressed to be very attractive.
Okay.
Right? They get on, right? And then they go down a couple of floors and they get off, right? And he looks at me. We don't say one word.
Right.
And he does the eyebrow. It's the
Did
secret
you give him an
handshake.
eyebrow back?
No, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the secret
I sort
handshake.
of did both. It was like, an acknowledgement. Yes, I'm a heterosexual male.
But he made us that. Yeah. Shame on you.
Yeah. No, absolutely right. And so we don't use the
Do you
talk
think
anymore.
that girls don't look at guys?
No, absolutely.
I
I
mean,
mean, why are there short dresses, right? Skirts. Why are there low cut, cleavage
And
things,
therein
right?
lies the question.
No, absolutely. And I mean, it's clear, obviously.
And nobody's doing it to say, oh, hey, take me. It's. You know what? I am heterosexual, but people are beautiful.
No,
I
absolutely.
mean,
Why
God
can't we
made us
appreciate
beautiful.
that?
Exactly.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Yeah.
But it's all in how you say it. And you know what? Those were 2 guys sitting on a bus having a good old time.
No, absolutely right.
And yucking it up.
No, absolutely right.
And
Hey, and listen, and we're always telling fish stories, right? So him being able to say like, oh, I'm so powerful, I'm so wealthy, all
yeah.
this,
Well, he's just feeding his ego there,
No,
talking.
absolutely. I mean, is it wrong? Absolutely, right? I mean, we shouldn't objectify
and
and
right.
but the reality is that is how. And what's funny is, so the left is epileptic over it, right? I mean, they're in seizures over it.
Right. Well,
but
because
yet,
it's such a good thing for their side.
no, absolutely. But yet you got like Miley Cyrus, whatever the girl's name is, or Beyonce, who are functionally doing strip shows and sex on stages.
Yeah, and that's all okay.
Yeah, and what are the guys out there doing? Like, oh, this is very artistic. No.
And yet, don't make a comment like
No,
that.
absolutely.
We're gonna do the, what do they call that thing? You know, where they do with their booty. There's a word for it.
They twerk.
Oh gosh,
twerk.
yeah, that's it. You. So we're gonna twerk.
I got teenagers.
Oh yeah, that's right. So a woman's gonna twerk in front of you, but if you say something about it,
Yeah. Don't enjoy it. Don't enjoy the show,
no.
right? That's just insane. It's totally, completely insane.
Well, it's hypocritical and it's just unrealistic and it's stupid.
Yeah.
And I'm going to go back and think, don't throw the first stone if you haven't done anything wrong, because we all have.
Yeah, absolutely.
Don't sit
and
there
the
and
thing
act
is,
like...
he's not running to be the Pope. You know?
I don't know why that's...
he's been married 3 times. His
Yeah.
affairs
like
have been
I said, did
in
this
the
shock
media.
you? I mean,
Right,
it didn't
yeah,
shock me at all.
Yeah.
I'm like, I would expect that from him, honestly. It's just...
Absolutely.
I really would.
No, absolutely.
I mean, the one good thing is that he didn't, like, say it on a microphone in front of everybody during the debate.
No, I agree.
It just makes me want to...
Well, let's switch over to bashing Hillary, which is always my favorite thing. So let's start out with the mere fact
Well, we
that,
need to, because the media is not going to.
No, absolutely. Let's start out with the mere fact that she is evil incarnate, right?
Well, it's like one of my budniks over in the Berg where I go said, okay, do you want Satan to win the election or do you want Trump to win the election?
No, absolutely, right? It's mind-numbing how utterly corrupt. I mean, I've never seen a politician ever that was so corrupt as the Clintons.
No.
Right?
Well, and it's not just corrupt and with the lying thing, because all politicians lie, all people lie. It's the level and the infiltration of the amount of corruption. It goes beyond.
It's in every aspect of everything they do. Right? I mean, I feel like she's got like just a charge card machine.
Well, why does Congress and the Senate even exist anymore?
No,
they don't even. I mean, that's to me what's scary. When the FBI and the Justice Department are corrupt and with her, it's.
So it came out in the WikiLeaks that the Clinton campaign and the FBI colluded, to attempt to get some of those emails
destroy the evidence.
Classified.
Yeah.
Well, classified.
Oh, to
right?
get it classified.
Yeah, because they didn't want it open to a FOIA request, right? And so and the quid pro quo was State Department's going, listen, if you classify these and we don't give them out, we'll give you more overseas positions, right? So for a lot of the intelligence community, and to include the FBI, having an overseas presence is gold, right? And so there are FBI
you mean a
positions
position for yourself
for FBI. They're like billets, right?
Okay.
So it's FBI billets, right? So I mean, I was overseas. I mean, I lived overseas. I've been in over 100 countries, and I always went to the embassies and the consulates, right? And so the embassy is, it's the American representation in that nation,
area,
right?
yeah.
So there'll be a Department of Commerce there. There'll be, the FBI, right? Because, there's a lot of mutual,
so it's not just State Department people there.
Correct, right? I mean, there's, the AID, it's called AID, right? And there's a bunch of there's IRS offices over there to support American citizens, expats that are living overseas. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff, right?
I didn't know all that.
Yeah,
Okay.
Especially in the bigger ones, right? There's all kinds of stuff, right?
So what are you saying? That they said if you go along with this, we'll get
so
you
State Department said, hey,
So it's a bribe.
Absolutely. I mean, it is corruption at its core, right? But it's the opening volley. Right? It's like a negotiation. How corrupt can we be together? So State Department goes, listen, if you classify that email, so once an email is classified, it doesn't fall under the FOIA, Freedom of Information Act anymore, right? Because it's classified, right? And so the FBI wouldn't release it. Well, the FBI going like, no, pound sand, we're not doing it, right? So some low-level guy is now out of a job because he told the Clinton campaign, or he's dead. Either one, right?
That's what I was going to say. He no longer exists.
He said, no, but the State Department said, hey, listen, if you classify it, we'll give you more billets overseas. I mean, just flat out.
So
corruption.
this is what I don't understand. You know the emails. Okay, if justice was ever to be served in this era, our lifetime right now, and you're writing emails to each other, they're going to come out if there is any justice left, and likely there's not at this point. But do you know what I'm saying? Why are they writing emails back and forth that's going to show their corruption?
I don't know. Well, because you're going to be honest with
Wouldn't
you,
you almost
I
be
think
safer
so
with
many
a
of
phone call?
I think they are so corrupt that they don't even identify it as corruption.
That they have fooled their minds
No,
into
absolutely.
thinking that this is all
They're going like, this is
okay.
the way it's done. I want something. What do you want? What can I give you so I can get what I want? Right?
And
I mean,
so it's all okay.
It's
See,
ingrained.
It is
ingrained
that's
in evil.
sociopathic thinking.
No, absolutely right.
Because normal people aren't going to. We don't go around just bribing each
No,
other.
listen.
for
I
stuff.
mean, the reality is, for normal people with average morals, we know when we're doing wrong.
Absolutely.
I mean, we know when we're, whatever. Took a piece of gum. We didn't
Ate
pay
somebody
the right
else's
amount.
banana. I
or-
ate Christini's banana the other
Absolutely,
day.
right?
Yeah.
Or when we're telling a lie.
And so, right. And you're like,
yeah.
oh, man, I feel really bad about this. But sorry.
No, absolutely right. I mean, we know that. It's just sort of intrinsic in our nature.
Right.
I mean, the reality is most people, regardless of whether you go to church or not, right, know the difference between
know what that's
right
called?
and
Your
wrong.
conscience.
No, absolutely right. It's innate.
Do you think
in
it's
every
possible
person.
for someone to develop the lack of a conscience
No,
like
absolutely.
that?
I think just over time, and I think that's actually probably biblical as well. Actually, Pastor Gary had a sermon on it. That you just sort of give it up, right? In other words, you just become so corrupt that it just consumes everything,
yeah.
right? And that
And then it
becomes
just
now
becomes
a normal
your norm,
way.
right.
Yeah. I mean, it's
That's
like this.
terrifying.
It's like I'll say abused spouses, right?
Yeah.
That somehow they think that's normal,
Right.
right? I mean, you
It's
just get
what we
used
do
to it.
here.
Yeah, it's just I just get the shit beat out of me when
Yeah.
my husband or my wife gets drunk or something, right?
Right.
And and the abuser, they're going like, she deserved it, or he deserved it,
Right.
Well,
Well,
it's just
when
insane.
you grow up in an environment or when you work in a certain environment, it's kind of like you live what you learn and learn what you live. So you just start to get sucked in.
Yeah.
Don't you? I often wonder if I worked somewhere like that, would I get sucked in, or would you be able to separate yourself and stand your ground?
Yeah. Well, and that's interesting. Did we talk about teeing me up for this? So that was actually
but here we go.
the cornerstone
Take it away,
sermon.
Warner.
It was a cornerstone sermon, right?
Okay.
And I actually wrote an article on that as well, right? Is that we're here on this earth, Christians, right?
Right.
So we're not to withdraw from it. We're supposed to have an influence on it. We're the salt, right?
Right.
And so for all these boneheads out there that are never Trumpers and are not going to vote for Trump, I'm going to post the pastor's sermon on that.
Are
right?
you?
Yeah,
Yes.
I'll
No,
post
that
it.
was a beautiful way to put it.
No,
of how to vote.
absolutely right. And I always tell people, so if you as a Christian going like, I'm not going to vote, so that means evil people are
the only
making
voters
decisions for you.
Exactly.
Right.
That was head on right. If you sit home because you don't like him, and in the stories that he told in the Bible of Nehemiah and the
absolutely.
pagan kings that
absolutely.
granted, were they perfect citizens? No, but they needed him.
Yeah, I mean Daniel was the same way, right? So
Exactly.
Daniel served a king,
Just like you
for,
said last week,
for
yeah.
eight decades, right? And the reality is, and but what was funny was the one time the king wanted them to do something that was actually going to go against his faith. He said, "Nah, not happening."
Right.
It's the whole thing about the lion's den. I actually wrote a whole article on this, but.
I remember that.
But yeah, so we as Christians need to be involved and need to be
Right.
active. And even if you're not a Christian or a believer, right? I go back to you were dissing the hundreds, if not millions, of people who died, the vets, right? Who died in service of this
Exactly.
nation to
Right.
extend,
that you could live the
constitutional
time-
rule.
Yeah.
You're giving you the right to vote, right? Equality, justice, all this stuff, man.
Well, this is what I always say. You got to fight for the fact that, okay, I decided not to be a nurse one day and open up my own shop the next.
absolutely.
Where else can you do that?
No, absolutely, yeah.
And who did that for us?
Yeah.
It's just like the Virginia Tech coach. Did you watch the video of the Virginia Tech basketball coach?
no.
So now I'm a Hokie fan. Go Hokies, go Hokies, go Hokies. He took his basketball players and had them come out and line up in front of their chairs. And also behind them was a line of military men, veterans.
Yeah.
And he said, these are not your chairs.
Right.
These are their chairs. And the only reason you're able to sit in them
Yeah.
is not because you can jump high and run fast.
Yeah.
It's because they interrupted their lives
Yeah.
so you could do this.
Yeah.
So Christian or not, how about the sacrifice of people of why
Yeah.
we're living in the
And
style
and
we
that
are?
is, in fact, the evilness that is called Hillary, right?
It is.
So she wants to deny every single possible right. I mean, she openly advocates the fact that Christians are just going to have to give up some of their beliefs to accommodate same-sex marriage, homosexual and transgender, rights, Sharia law. I mean, all this other stuff, right?
First of all, government shouldn't be in the church.
No, absolutely.
Church was developed,
Yeah.
or government was developed
Yeah.
by and through the church
And,
originally.
and
Just
her manipulation of the press, right? So now we have documented evidence that when she was, she gives interviews, and that she approves what the news story is. So when the reporter says, "Hey, can I use this quote?" and she comes back up, "Hell no, you can't use that quote," right? Which is so
that's third world.
which is so insane.
It is insane.
I mean, it is Pravda, right? Pravda was the Russian or the communist. Soviet Union newspaper. Actually, Pravda stood for the truth. Is actually what it was funny.
Well, shouldn't it be, in what used to be our world, the media should almost be another branch of government to keep everybody in check, because you're supposed to be objective. You're supposed to find the truth, investigate the truth, report the truth as best you know it, not hide it, manipulate it.
Yeah,
You're no longer the news media then.
Yeah, and what's funny about the about the media, it's the only industry that is mentioned in our founding documents. So when we talk about the U.S. Constitution, the right of a free press is the only one in there.
Wow,
It's
I
not.
never
It's not the.
thought about
It's not the
that.
right to own a business. Not the right. I mean, all the other rights.
To build your
right?
house.
Yeah, none of that. Right. It's the only business sector that is mentioned.
They knew.
They knew how important free flow of information is to a functioning democracy, right? And so next time I will have done my FOIA stuff. So for those of you who didn't watch last episode, I think I talked about it a little bit, but I did some FOIA requests on Lovettsville, right? Because it's funny because they're hiding some information. And so, so I couldn't, I tried through open means, for the initially, and I got a little bit of pushback, like, we're not doing this, right? I'm just going to FOIA the thing. Now, I had to pay some big money for it. I don't know what I'm paying yet, but they're charging me for it, right? And so, so we'll find out, shortly, sort of the answer to the question, right? But yeah, I mean, the Lovettsville they're hiding information, right?
But why?
And so they sort of hide it in the open, and that they make it really, really hard to get. Well, I don't know. So like one thing that bugged me, so they got the Planning Commission, right? So I go on the Lovettsville website. It's the government website, right? Mm-hmm. And they hadn't updated the minutes of the Planning Commission's meetings in the last 13 months.
You say they hadn't?
They hadn't published them.
Okay.
So I, in a FOIA request, I said, I need the minutes to all the last meetings. Well, they come back and they said, well, we just approved last October's, right? So there aren't any more. So we have a year of the Planning Commission meeting, right? And we don't have any minutes for it, right? And the only reason I'm convinced, the only reason they did the one is because I queried him about it. So, and I know some people on there, right? And so, in the several people that I know that are on the Planning Commission, or what I consider to be honest people. So, government is one of two things. It's either corrupt or inept, right? It's never good, right? So even if you have good people running it, they're inept. It's just, for whatever reason, right? And so I can only assume that, at least in this case, as an aggregate, the Planning Commission is inept. They're derelict in their duty to provide minutes to the meetings for 13
like, shouldn't that
months.
Just be typed up and put out like the next day?
Yes.
I mean, in Girl Scouts or whatever, that's what we had to do.
Doesn't it seem obvious, right? I mean, what happens is somebody, they type it up. So they have a meeting, type up the minutes.
Yeah.
The next meeting, it's like, do we approve or do we modify the minutes? It's
just like our show. As soon as we're done, you put it out there.
No, absolutely. It's all part of, basically, governmental, sort of function. I mean,
why does it have
it's
to be such a
Robert's
freaking
Rules of
secret?
Order, right?
Why does it have to be so secret? I mean, we're not.
I don't know. And there are a lot of people. They apparently go into a lot of closed sessions for whatever reason, which is in violation of it. But now the other thing as well, which I thought was humorous, and the same thing was with the town council, but the same thing was true with the mayor's Friday emails, right? Mm-hmm. So he, so the when the mayor sends out an email, that's an official government document.
Okay.
It's not just the mayor being friendly sending stuff out, right?
Right.
It's an official government document. So I go to the website, and the Friday emails hadn't been updated since 2014. So I said, okay, so where? Because I was sure they were somewhere, but I couldn't remember where. And they're not on the site, and there's no link to where they are. So I sent an email, and I said, and part of my FOIA request is,
right.
I want a copy of all the Friday emails. Because I'm convinced, he writes, I'm going to say about a third of it is about him, right? Because he's a narcissist. I mean, he's Trump at the local level, right? So it's all about him, right? And then there's about a third that's just total fiction, right? It's like Hansel and Gretel or something, right? I mean, he just says stuff that's totally fictitious. And then there's about a third that's actually stuff like, Mayfest is this weekend, blah, 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 whatever, right?
Right.
And so, it's crap, more crap, and then stuff that's worth something, right?
So you have to go through the crap first.
Yeah. Well, he always talks about himself first. It's just running around. There's always a picture of him, and if you look on the website, there's a picture of him.
See, I'm terrible.
He's doing everything, right? He's putting, dolphins up on the, the water towers. I mean, it's insane how self-focused
But
he
this
is
is the kind of world we live in.
No,
Think about it. Selfie sticks. I mean,
no, absolutely. And what's funny is people think like, those political games, they're all in Washington. No, it's right here.
well, that's why they say if you ever want to make it to Washington, you got to do local government first.
No,
right?
absolutely.
This
right.
is where you practice. Practice makes
Yeah.
perfect.
So sure to kind of find
So
out.
learn your sociopath, narcissistic.
Yeah. You gotta
personality.
perfect him. Hey, it's why we're doing this show, right? We're trying to work through some stuff so that when we get opportunity, man, here's our portfolio material, man.
Man.
So
So let's talk about a few other things. Unless you have another point to make about our corrupt government,
No,
both
we'll go
local
on that
and
more.
global
We'll go on that
and
more.
national.
And what we'll learn next week is how much have they raised for the clock tower?
And the Glockenspiel. Can't wait for the little people to come out.
Yeah, I didn't know there was people coming out. I'm actually excited about the
I know,
Glockenspiel.
because I have the great view of it from my
No,
shop. I used to have a great
absolutely,
view of the mountain, but now it's the shop.
Yeah.
So, or the
Yeah.
stores. So let's talk about, because I need you to clarify some things for
Okay.
me. The what's happening in the Mediterranean with our Navy ships that who's basically we're getting shot with our own
Yeah.
money because we
Yeah.
gave the money to Iran, so now they're
Yeah.
use it on
Who
us
gave
just like
it to
they do
the
in the movies.
Yemenis who are now shooting at us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you know what? Don't talk about that on CNN or NBC.
Yeah.
And then also, what is the scoop with Russia and us and Trump
Yeah.
versus Hillary? We just lost ourselves.
Hopefully not.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
So what's the scoop there?
so
I need
those
to
are
be
two big
clarified on
things.
that. Yeah.
There's two big things. So let's talk about the
Because we're too busy talking about Trump's women. I want to know
No,
what that's
absolutely.
about.
Things that
Okay.
matter.
Things that matter.
Right.
So tell me about that.
we're on the verge of World War III, and Hillary is damn driving us to that. She says the number one issue today is getting Assad out of Syria, right?
Okay.
Of Syria, right? And I'm going like, did they bomb New York City?
No.
Did they kill a bunch of people in Orlando? Right? Did they kill the people of Fort Hood? Okay, I don't give a shit about it.
Exactly. Family show.
I don't give a poopy about them, right? I couldn't care less. And so, and the bottom line is, they're all evil over there. I say let them fight and kill each other.
Right.
It's the
We don't
last
even
man
need to help 'em.
standing. No, absolutely. And then we'll mop up afterward or whatever. But the
But
big
first we have
thing
to
about
give them $60 billion so they can
no,
kill
absolutely in a unmarked blackout plane.
us. That's like me.
So a long time ago, in a land far away, I smuggled arms into Central and South America, right?
you don't.
So this was in the early '80s, right? Now, with that said, I'm making it all up because I just worked for the CIA, but I did live down in Panama, and I saw a lot of stuff going on down there. The U.S. government was supporting the Contra rebels, right? Because they were freedom-loving people, right?
Yeah.
And they had a communist dictator,
Right.
Noriega, down there, right? Not
Soon that will be
Noriega.
us.
what was the guy's name? The Sandinistas. Ortega was his name. Yeah, but anyway.
Man, you're good, man. Your memory just.
But anyway, so yeah, let's talk about the Navy thing. So keep in mind, Obama loathes the military. He hates them. So he's run out every patriotic general, and so now all you have in the military is gays and transgender people, right?
Yes, Mundo.
And people who hate America as well,
right?
And so, and he's so shrunken our military, right? And he thinks their job is not to fight wars. Right, it's like a Love Boat thing. It's like a Love Boat cruise, right? So you put a bunch of freaks on a ship,
there's no love there.
And you put a bunch of freaks on a ship, and then you just cruise the Mediterranean for grins and giggles, right? So
to make it look like we're doing something.
No, absolutely,
to fool us.
And so
the American
sure
public.
enough, Teddy Roosevelt said, speak softly and carry a big stick,
Mm-hmm.
right? And it's clearly not Obama's thing. Yeah, so we've been attacked 3 times out of the Mediterranean. And this is what people aren't getting.
So who's the group that's shooting at us?
Well, I think they're called the Houthis, right? So it's
from Yemen.
Well,
are they separate?
Yeah. Well,
they're always coming up with a new name for these people. I'm like, seriously,
right.
Which group are they?
No, absolutely. They're just
the
more
Sunni, the Shiites, the Houthis, Hooters.
They're just more Muslim extremists, is what that boils down. I mean, they're all the same, right?
Well, that's what I'm like. Why is it so complicated? It's all the same.
It's not. Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, different day, right?
Yes, exactly.
But so you actually have like 2 governments in Yemen. Right, and one of them may actually be in exile, but they've had civil war, and it's because of the Muslim extremists, right? And we all know that Muslim is a peaceful religion, which is why there's so much peace in the Middle East,
right?
So you got all these Muslims killing each other.
And we've been having like the Middle East peace crisis since I've been 3 years old.
I know. The Muslims are just like the Swiss.
To the West Bank. I always talk about like Peter Jennings talking about the Gaza Strip and the West Bank, and I'm like, I want to go there. What is this place that we're talking about?
No, absolutely. Yeah.
But anyway, yeah.
But anyway, yeah. So we got people shooting. Yeah, probably weapons that we sold to somebody over there.
Exactly.
They're now shooting them at us. And what I think is funny is that's what did you see the movie, the Iron Man movies?
Yeah.
Right. Well, that's
I don't go to movies, but I know
Stark was his name, right? So Stark was there was this like come to Jesus moment, right? So Stark is this multi-billionaire who ran defense industries, right?
Okay.
But
in the movie.
Okay. Yeah. But he was injured by one of his own weapons that they had sold. He sold to the government. The government sold it to some rebels, whatever, and they used it on him. And so as he lays there dying, he looks over and he sees his name on the weapons that were used to get him basically near death, right? And so that's what we're doing over there, right? And so for whatever
getting shot
reason,
by our own weapons.
Yeah, we're getting shot by our own weapons.
We just went over there with a plane full of money.
Yeah.
Who was the pilot? I want to know, who was the pilot?
Yeah.
Who are you?
And what's unfortunate about it is, and I will say this, it's a lot of defense contractor money, right? Because the mentality is like, oh, well, they're going to get anti-aircraft weapons anyway. Well, we might as well sell them, right? No, let them get them to somebody else. Well, we make the best, and everybody else's stuff is crap. And so I'd rather be shot at by crap.
No kidding.
When he go, and he says it's a dud.
You got a chance to
because
run,
it's made by
right?
Chinese, right? It's made by Samsung,
But
right? Who can't make a phone.
Who supplies ammunition to their enemies? Only stupid people in movies.
And the United States.
And the United States.
Yeah, well, that's the insanity over there. I mean, why we're not blowing these people out of the water?
No, exactly.
And it's
literally.
like when they took those, when the Iranians took our, men and those little boats out there, right, held them for a while.
I know.
We should have bombed one of their ports into oblivion. We should have made that whole area one massive oil slick.
And here, I mean, remember the point you made. Wait a minute, the fishies.
Manatees. They actually have manatees over there, which I think is sort of interesting.
But again, here's a society that treats people in general like crap, let alone the women. And here we're going to get all over Trump because he talks locker room talk. But I'm never going to be able to look at a kitten the same way again. Okay, so how about the Russian thing? I don't know what's going on with what's his name?
So I've always thought about the following, right? So I really don't think Obama's going to give up the presidency.
Oh God, you're scaring me. You're talking
so,
like Levin now.
And so what I sort of sense is if Trump wins, he just won't leave.
He just won't
Like he'll
leave.
be like that bum uncle that won't move out of the
Exactly.
house.
And
in the
he'll make
basement,
some
right?
executive order.
No,
He'll
absolutely.
pull it out of his.
Just crowning himself.
Yeah.
Right? And so, and then,
and pulling the United Nations on it. And here we go to Agenda 21 where I'm
Yeah.
freaking out.
well, if Hillary was to win, I think he would just like, oh,
course, he'd
okay,
be like,
well,
here you go.
Here's
Here's my
third
predecessor.
term.
Yeah,
Right?
exactly.
Here's my third term, right? And so, what was your question again?
The Russian thing.
Oh yeah. So they're hell bent to get us into a war with Russia, and I don't know why.
I know.
So
why?
so Hillary, listen, let's make sure something really clear.
Okay.
Hillary cut the deal for the Russians to buy most of the U.S. uranium reserves, so that the Russians can sell it to the Iranians for processing. So this is the insanity of the Democratic. This is the insanity of Hillary, right? She makes a deal with the devil, i.e., Putin, and
Right.
the Russians to sell off basically all of our uranium deposits, right? And so they have the right to mine it, right? And then so they're mining the hell out of it, and who are they selling it to? The Iranians. Now, what are the Iranians doing? We gave them billions to process uranium
Okay, so
for nuclear weapons.
Why? Because no one's going to believe
They're a
this.
peaceful people, right? The whole religion's peaceful. They're going to use it for peaceful purposes.
They're working on destroying us.
No, absolutely. And so they're going to get a bomb and they're going to nuke somebody somewhere. Why? Because they don't care about themselves.
No.
Right? You know, and there was a song by Sting, 30 years ago when everybody was freaky about nuclear weapons and the Soviets, right? Do the Russians, really love their children too? And it was one of the lines in there, right? And so, and I, to me, I said, yeah. I mean, I don't think the Russians were insane to somehow think that we were going to have this nuclear war between the United States. I mean, it was the whole point of MAD. And the reality is the Soviet Union folded. Right, without a shot, at least
Right.
Between the major powers, right? But I can't say that about the Muslim or Islamic extremist nut jobs.
No.
In Iran or any of these other places.
Exactly.
Right? They don't love their children.
No, they don't.
Why? Because they have honor killings. They blow the heads off their daughters. Right?
They blow the heads off
who
themselves.
commit sexual immorality.
Yeah.
Good
people.
So they strap bombs.
So be sure to
little
let them all in,
kids.
everybody, because
They strap bombs to little kids and send them into places. They strap bombs to their daughters. They strap bombs to their wives. Right? No,
and they're sticking up for the leftists. Stick up for them.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Not sticking up for us, but they're sticking up for them.
Sticking up for them. Right?
It's almost like going over and protecting your neighbor's house and their children, and while you go ahead and get robbed and pillaged and.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Yeah.
But this is the other thing, and this is what I was asking everybody all week. So let's just say, I know I probably asked you this 100 times. If we were on the Today Show together, because it's such a dog and pony show, I just want to vomit when I watch it.
Yeah.
Or CNN or any of them, okay, any of the liberal news media.
Yeah.
And you have the little Miss Skirt on there, or I don't even know who they are anymore because I can't bear to watch it. What they are doing, and the one lady's pregnant, and so the only time I see this is when I'm at the gym in the Berg, okay, and I have to, I'm in prison to look at this. I'm thinking, do you not realize that what you are doing right now, you're not just ruining someone else's life, you're ruining your unborn child's life.
Yeah.
I think it's like you said earlier, they're not processing that they're ruining their own life.
Yeah.
You're lying and manipulating the truth isn't just getting your way, it's ruining your lifestyle.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense to me. It's like a slow suicide. It's like, go ahead and give yourself cancer and die a slow death.
Yeah. No, I agree. No, it's just insane but that is the mentality of the evil people, and that's why in reality so many former Democrats are in reality now Republicans, right? Because the Democratic Party used to not be that, right? And so when you look through the '60s and the '70s,
no, it wasn't like this. It was a different party then.
Yeah, no, absolutely right. And so I still didn't support them or wouldn't have supported them.
No,
but at least they weren't evil.
No, this is.
But now, we are just. The Democratic Party represents pure evil in
Oh, yeah.
every party platform.
Well, when the evangelical leaders had met with Trump, and one of them was on Fox one evening, and they basically said this isn't a vote for a Republican versus a Democrat.
Yeah.
This is a vote against good versus evil.
No,
and they're
absolutely.
spot on right.
Yeah, well, and I've been writing because I too. I mean, reality is, I mean, Trump wasn't my first guy, wasn't my second guy, wasn't my
No.
third guy,
Right.
And I don't look at him as a role model. I don't look at him as a father figure. The exemplar of moral,
But you know what's
fortitude.
interesting about him? And this is even what Hillary Clinton gave him the compliment on at the end of the debate.
kids.
It's like, I'm a yucca but you better not be, which is really interesting, you know?
Yeah. No, absolutely.
It's kind of like the don't do as I do, but do as I say, which
Yeah.
is, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like Paris Hilton or something, who's
Yeah, his
who's
kids
just
are
a
not
nut
like,
job. Yeah, no, absolutely right.
So
So this is something. I mean, this is something, right? But yeah, I mean, to me, it's the difference between as we all are, right? Just sinners, right?
Right.
So just Trump's a sinner, right? As we all are, right? But it's the difference between a sinner and just evil people,
Yeah, no,
right? I mean, I've met very few people that I consider to be evil.
truly evil. Yeah.
right?
And if they are on her side, like the liberals that I know, that
Yeah.
I know and love,
Yeah.
they're the kindest people, but they're
Yeah.
completely fooled by the media.
Yeah.
And they're too busy to really learn. And I certainly am not going to approach them because I don't even want to get in.
Yeah.
Because you know how they get when they get in an argument? It's like kitten gone crazy, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you can't have a discussion.
Well, somebody firebombed that GOP.
I know. but you're not going to hear about that
No,
because
not
the
much.
crazies did it, but yet
Yeah.
we're the crazies. Now, see, this is the other thing about the party that nobody talks about.
Yeah.
They do to some extent, but again, it's the whole amnesty thing. As long as if they get 50 million more people in here, there will never be another two-party system as long as we live.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
And the fact that everything that they try to blame on us,
Yeah.
they do that because they're the ones doing it.
Oh, absolutely,
And it's the boxing. What do they say? What's with the velvet on the boxing glove? It's like,
Yeah.
isn't this nice and shiny and soft? But really, underneath them,
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, normally the stuff they rant and rave the most about is the very corruption of which they're actively participating.
yeah, they're the racists. We're not.
Yeah.
You're the one that has the issues with this.
And what
not
I
me.
can't figure out in this society, so let's back up, 8 years ago. I want to know what racism was going on that people, because I always hear people say they go, well, we need to sit down and have a conversation about what are we talking about? Right? So the reality is discrimination and racism, so there's a big difference between being a bigot.
Right.
Right? I
Yeah.
mean, the reality is, everybody's got some bigotry in them at some point, right?
Right.
Because there's something about somebody you don't like.
Well,
I don't like bald people. I don't like fat people. I don't like this. I don't like, I mean, that's just bigotry, right? And so,
Right.
so people got that, right? But racism, there's sort of two components to racism, sort of. Is, there's the component of bigotry, right? But then some level of power where you can influence stuff, right?
yeah.
But the reality is, I work with black people at my daytime job, and I sell guns to black people. So we're not keeping black people out of the workforce. I'm not keeping black people from buying a gun. Hey, you come in here with cash? You pass the background check? I don't give a... hell, I look at that, it's green and white on that dollar bill, man.
right. And we're not saying, that it doesn't happen. Of course, it's out there. But obviously, what's happened in the past 8 years is, well, think about it. It's a way of dividing us.
Yeah.
And when you feed people information to make them believe it, and somebody has the opportunity to play a victim, I mean, unfortunately, as humans, we're like, oh, yeah, look at poor me.
Yeah.
Well, one of my friends he's black, and he went up to New England for a vacation. And okay, we all know Boston is right. And he said he had never been treated so horribly.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to make a comment because I don't even want to get started, right? Especially in
Yeah.
the workplace. No way. And I'm thinking, okay, well, they're the ones that when I visited Boston in the spring, it was, we are all one and love your Muslim brother. And I'm like, okay, so you went up to liberal land.
Right.
And all those people are the ones that feel sorry for you and want to make sure that you have all your rights and yet that's where you got treated the worst.
I know,
What does that say to you?
And
what does that say to you?
And that's in direct contrast to me being in Oklahoma. Now, for clarity, in 2012, not one county, so Oklahoma has 77 counties, not one county voted for Barack Obama. Not one.
Really?
Yeah. And here's the deal. When you go to Oklahoma, you're in Niceville.
I believe that.
Yeah, I mean, they're just like, you know, the down to
Just
earth
regular-
people. I mean,
yeah.
it's just, when you talk about, you know, I mean, Hillary and Bill like to mock them. But, you know,
Yeah.
they're actually,
Or when
you
they're
know,
there,
sort
like,
of the
fake the
true
accent.
Americans, right?
Right.
You know?
Just
Yeah, I mean,
good,
that-
everyday people
No,
wanting to go to
absolutely.
their job, have a beer on a Friday.
No,
You know, the kind
absolutely.
of people that Alan Jackson and Jimmy Buffett sing about, right?
No, absolutely, right?
Yeah.
You know, it's not this, you know, two-faced, backstabbing, low
No,
life.
just
you
work
know,
together.
Wheeling, dealing. Yeah, no, it's just.
But let me tell you what society has turned into, okay? I never get out, and I will admit it. I do not like to go east of the east end of Leesburg, okay?
Yeah.
I went to a club on Saturday night for a fundraiser.
I was going to say,
for a
that's
friend.
crazy talk for you.
It is crazy. But, you know, I'm a friend of these people.
Like,
and
this is
they're
a family
great
show, but I mean, was it an okay club? What kind of
Oh,
club?
oh
was
yeah,
it?
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
It was Al Shabin in Fairfax City. It's a Irish pub and restaurant, and
Oh.
then downstairs, I don't know. I don't even recognize anymore Fairfax or where I
Yeah.
went to school at Mason. It looks all totally different to me, and I haven't been at a club since 1983. Okay? And I'm not kidding. I mean, I really am out of touch. I'll give you
Yeah.
that. But I gotta tell you, you know how like we used to dance like this. you know, I mean, there was just like this. These people.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna demo here because
Yeah.
they move. Our DNA has changed.
No, absolutely, yeah.
And you know, you'd go to a club, you'd go with like your girlfriends, or
Yeah.
at least one girlfriend or two
Yeah.
girlfriends, or a date, right?
Yeah.
Okay, well, there was only one couple there that was a couple, okay?
Yeah.
And they had the same look on their face the whole night. I'm serious. I mean, I bet I didn't even blink. I was staring at everyone, and I felt like, okay, which one of these does not belong? I felt like I was in a different planet.
No, absolutely.
People
yeah.
come alone. They come dressed in any way. Not bad, but just
Yeah.
in any way. I mean, capri pants, a fedora, or a baseball cap, or, I mean, just regular clothes to weird to, at least they didn't have their pajamas on. But I'm telling you, they dance differently.
Yeah.
They interact differently.
Yeah.
It was almost an out of body experience. The way they dance, like
Yeah.
we were doing this business. And I came home and I said to my husband, I don't think we live on Earth anymore.
I know. Yeah.
This new generation of clubbers,
Yeah.
is that what you call it? Clubbing?
Yeah.
Their minds are.
And I really
somewhere
think it
else.
has to do with the fact. I mean, I do think this is it. That, you know, once upon a time, before cell phones, people had a conversation. People talked.
Yes.
Right? Now you just, you text one-liners, right? So it's like it's just like the life of shallowness. Right?
It
I mean,
is.
it's
That's
one-liner,
exactly.
one-liner, right?
Yeah.
You know? It's like,
And they even like their conversations. I wish they'd stop on the dance floor and say a few words,
yeah.
and then and then they even danced with lights in between their fingers so that.
Oh, wow.
And the one girl had a hula hoop for a little while. I gotta tell you, I mean, they were talented.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah,
I was watching
yeah.
them like this is amazing stuff.
Contortionist.
But their brains were not the same as mine, and I'm not saying worse or better, just
Yeah.
totally different.
Yeah.
It was, I'm telling you, a very strange experience.
Yeah. Well, and the funny thing is, excuse me.
So get out more people and see what's going on out
Yeah,
there.
no, absolutely right. And well, actually, that was the one thing. So we're at 48-minute
Yeah,
mark.
yeah, I gotta get home and cook.
Yeah. So real quick. So the one thing that I noticed, and I got canned from writing, but I'll write again. Now,
I have to do an abbreviated version of the Oklahoma
yeah.
story.
Yeah. Quick synopsis.
Take two, even though you don't know this.
Yeah, we had another 10 minutes worth of really good
Good
stuff,
stuff,
and
and
I
you
didn't have
missed
the camera
it.
on. Yeah. But anyway, I don't even remember where I started
The story,
now.
the little town that you could drive for 15
Yeah.
miles through what's the name of the town?
Midwest City, right? So
Midwest City,
outside of the
Oklahoma.
bubble of Washington D.C.
DC.
and federal monies.
Or like you drive through Reston and you have what, BAE, Northrop Grumman,
Yeah,
Grumman.
Lockheed Martin, all these places, right? Yeah, so you just drive for miles, and there's little bitty businesses all along the way.
But think about how different the landscape looks because
Yeah.
of that.
No,
Whereas
absolutely.
you have buildings up to here,
Yeah.
and then those businesses it must look village-like versus
so, yeah. Yeah,
cityscape.
no, absolutely. Yeah, and what you'll have is you'll have like a little bitty building that's one business, and you have another building and another lot.
Yeah.
Right? So you don't have big, huge strip malls all over the place.
Yeah.
Well, you got them, but but there's a lot.
Next time you should take a picture of that or
No,
find a
absolutely.
picture of it
Well,
online because it's a different culture altogether.
Well, the funny thing was, and I meant to do it, but since I'm not writing anymore, I ended up not doing it. But I was going to, just turn my little camera and drive 2 miles,
right.
right? And I was going to just talk to the camera,
Right.
And just real quick about every business, right?
Yeah.
Just as many as I could, right? And again, they're not big chains, they're not franchises.
No, they're individual mom and pop.
Right.
Like
yeah.
I said,
they're
country song.
entrepreneurs
Yeah.
who, probably started, with nothing, right, as most
Right.
do.
Exactly.
And built a little business, that was sufficient for their little, family or whatever.
Because you know what? That's what people fought for, so that
No,
we could
absolutely,
do
yeah.
what we wanted to do.
No, absolutely, right. Yeah.
But now that y'all want to give it up, you better
Yeah.
think about what you're voting for.
Yeah, yeah. And so again, going back to, in summary, Hillary's evil, and that sums it all up.
It does. It really does. It does. It's just it is what it is.
No, absolutely, yeah. No, it's unfortunate that we've reached this point in our,
Where right is wrong and wrong is right. That it's just
Yeah.
all okay to lie. It's all okay to manipulate information, not give out information, make deals with the devil all day long, and it's all okay.
and all the people just, applaud, at the end. Oh, isn't she great? It's like, really?
But do you know what? Really, did I miss something there?
Yeah.
Do you know what somebody said? Like at the Trump rallies, people are going crazy. Like
Yeah.
because people have had enough of.
Oh, yeah.
Like they're just sick and tired of all the like every time there's a Republican candidate, he's had
Yeah.
500 girlfriends. Well, nobody cares about that anymore. They're
Yeah.
just sick and tired.
Yeah.
And the reason why Trump, even though he's not our guy, that he made
Yeah.
it is because he's not the establishment,
No,
and he
absolutely.
doesn't give a crap about the establishment. That's
Yeah.
why the establishment doesn't like him.
Yeah.
But that being said. Oh my God! See, you can tell
Another
it
one.
gets late with us because Hillary's evil, and Trump is what? If Hillary's evil, Trump is what?
Yeah, he's just a
We're gonna
sinner, man.
He's just a sinner. Yeah. Well, you know what? It's because she is so evil that we do have Trump. That's
No,
basically the point. We have Trump because
Yeah.
we've gone over the edge in the other direction because there is no balance.
Yeah.
You're either way over here and giving everybody everything.
And the polls vary widely, right? So I heard today that it's a statistical tie, and then another one said he's down by 11. And clearly they're, as far as I'm concerned, they're clearly
It's another way.
manipulating.
Absolutely, because they think, oh well, don't bother voting because she's already won.
Yeah.
That's the message they're
And what
trying
I
to
can't
send
get over
out.
is, he still packs houses.
That's what I was going to say. Thank you. So he's packing houses, and his rallies are full of people. And the guy on the radio today says she can't attract flies. So who's so how is
She
it
had
that
one
she's
fly.
winning?
She had one fly land on her.
This is what I think, and this is
Yeah.
what I pray for if it's
Yeah.
meant to be. Because honestly, everywhere you go, you might see 1 or 2 Clinton Kane
Yeah.
signs, but you see Trump signs everywhere. People can't talk. People who want to
Yeah.
vote for Trump,
Yeah,
they're not talking.
yeah,
And we're hoping that the non-talkers are just the ones not being.
yeah.
And
Yeah, no, I hope the same thing, right? But unfortunately, I had that same belief a little bit with Romney, right? When Romney was
I did
running, I was
too.
thinking that, there's a silent majority out there that's still going to vote for him. But I will say, Trump has, an ecstatic core following, right? And so,
But
and I
see,
do
we
think.
also weren't at the edge of the cliff
No,
as much
absolutely
as we are this time.
Yeah, and I do think a lot of people, to be honest with you, are quote unquote embarrassed to say, yeah, I'm voting for Trump.
Right, but how
And-
could you
but I
not be
think when
more
they go in
embarrassed
the-
by Hillary?
I know, but I think when they go in there, they click, So I do think the
absolutely.
poll, I do think the exit or the actual results will be, much
honestly,
different
that-
than the polls. Much different than the polls.
Well, if everything's on the up and up, if there's not dead people voting,
Yeah. Well, and I think he's going to get more electoral votes than McCain and Romney. So when the GOP looks back and tries to crucify Trump,
right?
he can always say, how many did McCain get? Oh, yeah, not as many as me. How many did Romney get? Oh, not as many as me.
Yeah.
Right? And I think that's going to happen.
Well, the people are tired of the freaking establishment
Yeah. No, absolutely.
because they don't
not.
do anything anymore.
Well, I'm done. I mean, I am done with the GOP 100%. I'm so completely done. Now, I'm still going to support candidates, and I have my Barbara Comstock sign here. But be honest with you, I've substantially soured on her. But she is the nominee, and I'm soured on her because she doesn't support Trump.
Exactly.
Listen, he wasn't my choice either.
Right. But look, you know what?
Yeah.
Sometimes,
And-
like God says, you got to use people that aren't perfect to,
absolutely.
to,
And,
to
hey,
make,
and Barbara,
get what you want.
I'm just telling you right now, your husband talked about kittens with other guys. Bottom line.
Newsflash.
So you can live in you can live in your little fantasy world to think that your husband hasn't talked about kittens when he's with the guys, right? But you're off. You're off, right? So she's all about whatever.
And you know what? I love my husband dearly, but he is a man through and
absolutely.
through. And you know what?
Yeah.
I know he loves me.
Yeah.
I can trust him as much as any man can
No,
be
no,
trusted.
absolutely right.
But you know what? You guys are what you are.
Yeah.
And hey, we are what we are too. It's just that we're less threatening when we do that. I mean, like,
Yeah.
you're really scared of me if I say, "Oh, what a nice butt you have,"
Yeah.
It's like,
Well,
anyway.
and so I watched tons of Seinfeld, and there's a great episode on
so
Seinfeld.
funny.
Yeah, great episode on Seinfeld where George stares too long into the sun, right? And so a woman's been over, she's attractive, right? And he lingers too long, right? And he gets caught, right?
Who's
so the
George?
episode, George Costanza. He's the guy that looks like me. He's short,
Okay,
fat, and bald,
okay.
right? So Jerry Seinfeld's the other one, right? But he gets caught lingering too long,
What
right?
happens to him? Electric chair?
Well, yeah, it was funny. Well, they were trying to pitch their show to NBC, and they ended up canceling the show because
You're
he got
joking.
caught. No, that's
Oh,
whole
this is a
episode.
real story. This wasn't on the show.
No, this was on the show. It was. I mean, it was the show was about them trying to get a show.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, but
See, that's
but,
the thing about Seinfeld. It's
Yeah, no, absolutely. But the reality is, again, I think everything that's on Seinfeld is like a true to life.
I was just going to say a touch of reality.
No, absolutely right, and I
sure.
think that's one of the reasons why it's so popular. So
That's
there's
why
no
people-
guy on the planet that hasn't lingered too long
long.
and gotten caught.
Gotten busted.
Yeah,
That's what I was going to say about my husband. It's like, and you know what? You can be that quick, but
Yeah.
I didn't fall off the turnip truck yesterday, Bucky,
yeah.
you know?
And the bottom line is, if you're wearing something down here, so before we go, if you turn on any Latino television show, right? So because I lived in Latin America, I mean, I know what it's about. It's very machismo,
Yes.
right? And
Yeah.
and it's very visually superficial for women, right?
Yeah.
And so you turn on almost any Latino show here in the States, right? Spanish language television, right? And all the women, it doesn't matter what they're doing. They can be serving hamburgers in the back of McDonald's, or drop dead, knockout, good looking, and
yeah.
bustier than heck,
Heck,
and all this
yeah.
other stuff,
Yeah.
right? No homely women in Latino TV, right? Machismo, and they always denigrate the hell out of them on the, these TV. Yeah, I mean, they're always
Exactly.
like,
The
they're
victim in the
making
scene.
comments
Right.
to their face.
Yeah. But see, who are the women acting? If you don't want to be like, don't be a Redskins cheerleader if you don't want people gawking at you.
Yeah,
Right?
looking at your butt, because when the skirt comes up, that's what you see.
And you're tweaking or twerking. Like, what do you think's gonna happen?
No, absolutely.
And you're
yeah.
gonna be on a set. If you don't want to be objectified, then don't put yourself in that position.
Yeah. No, absolutely. It's insane. Anyway, so we probably been here now.
I know.
mean,
It really was
it's
the
been 2
Liberty Radio
weeks.
Hour this
It's been
time.
2 weeks. It was, yeah.
Yeah, it was 2 weeks worth. Watch it in between.
Yeah. So
Okay.
with that said, I'm Darcy Shaka with the Liberty 201 at 80
Warner
Radio Hour.
Yeah.
And you're who?
Warner Workman.
Warner Workman, right? And so we'll see you next week. So we took 2 weeks because I was out.
Maybe in the next we can switch brains like they did in that movie, and I can have your brain and you can have mine.
Yeah, what movie was that? That was there was the
There was
two
a Steve
girls.
Martin one. Well, no, it was a mom and a daughter too.
Yeah.
They did several different
Jamie
ones
Lee
like that,
Curtis and some girl.
but-
Lindsay
and I can have
Lohan.
your voice. Anyway, cheers, everybody.
Yeah. God bless, and we'll see you next week. Bye bye.